Welcome back, it's day 2 and we have ended our movement in the Anchor Egg Mine. It's time to draw a conflict encounter card. So we know what the title is, it's right here, it says captured. Let's see what happens. You awake from a deep slumber, groggily aware of your unnatural drowsiness. As you try to blink the sleep out of your eyes, you find yourself manacled and stripped of your gear. Nearby, your presumptive captors sleep around the fire that you started hours earlier. This is insult to injury, and it can't stand. On the other hand, these captors look pretty tough. Maybe this can stand after all. If you were just to sneak off, what's the worst that could happen? Gear is replaceable, limbs not so much. Okay, so we travelled, we rested overnight, we made camp, and overnight we've been ambushed by an unseen group of ruffians. We have a choice now. We can face our captors in battle, or we can make our escape. Let's have a look at this second option first. Each adventurer must either discard all items or lose all tenacity. So we would lose the items that we've literally just shopped for. To do so, they must have at least one item or tenacity to lose. We haven't looked at tenacity yet, but we don't have any. Just know that much. Okay. It will gain us 1 experience point. So we've learnt from our mistake, but only 1. However, we want experience. This 2 experience might be a better draw. Do we seek revenge? If we do, we're going to start a battle, and our objective in the battle is to conquer. Different battles might have different objectives. Conquer says we must defeat, or otherwise remove, all enemies on the map. This will be the map setup. Some battles have eliminate. They tell us to eliminate a specific objective or target unit. Others might say survey or uncover, where we have to explore the map looking for particular objectives. Okay, so this is a conquer. We're going to have to defeat everybody. There's also different types of battle or modes of battle. This one's a clash. A clash takes place on a single tile. In fact, there'll be 2 tiles here, but it's a single area. And then you might find delves where you explore the map and it uncovers as you go, enemies are revealed as you go, and then dungeons, which are kind of like a cross between the 2. It's a battle across multiple tiles, but the dungeon has a preset layout. Okay, so those are the 3 types. We're looking at a single clash. Let's do it. Let's get our stuff back. We don't want to lose these items. Okay, let's make some space and set up this map. There's different map tiles with different aesthetics. We're just going to be using the this generic wooded area, and then we've got an entrance tile here. This will show us where our adventurers begin. Yeah. Now I was hoping in our first conflict encounter to be using my glyph of foulness to give us a little bit of a head start, but it does say here, during this clash, adventurers cannot use items. Remember, these have been stolen from us. We're trying to get them back. The first time an adventurer unlocks a cache, the item's discarded and the cache chip is placed on the character mat. They have recovered their gear. And you can see on this little battle plan here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 caches. 4 cache chips we'll place on the map. Let's do that now. Now, if I'd been smart, we would have deployed this glyph before battle would commence and enchanted that enemy bag. But there we go. We've lost our chance. The glyph has been stolen. We have been robbed in the night. Next, we'll set up the enemy pool. How many enemies are we actually facing? To calculate the enemy pool, we need to know the number of adventurers, so 2, and then our current level of experience, which is also 2. We multiply them. 2 times 2 is 4, so we have an enemy pool, or EP, of 4. This will determine how many and which enemies we'll draw. Remember, we have 2 bags of enemies that we set up. We set up a bag of 10 and 20 and a bag of 1 and 5 level enemies. We need 4 EPs worth of enemies, okay? And we'll take the largest level enemies we can to fill up that number, all right? So if it was 5 EP, we take 1 level 5. If it was 25 EP, we take a level 20 and a level 5. With 4 EP, we're going to have to take 4 ones, okay? 4 ones it is, and we can't use our glyph. Well, so give this a good shake up. We're looking for 4 enemies. And once more, this map is going to tell us where they go. And remember, they're level 1 on one side, level 5 on the other. So we want the level 1. And the map is telling us the first enemy we draw is going up here in this spot. All right? Makes sense? Okay, let's do the same for 2, 3, and 4. See what we got. So we've got a cliff racer here. Then we've got a high elf bandit down here. It's 2, 3 is going up here. A dark elf bandit. And then 4 is going here. Right in the center. A Nord bandit. Alright, so we've got a whole bunch of bandits. And then this cliff racer up here. Should we give them some health? I don't have the premium health. These are just regular health. But we need 4 for the cliff racer. That's his health. This value here is its range. So with range 1, it can only hit adjacent targets. That's its attack. How many combat dice does it roll? It rolls 2 dice. And that's its defense, 0. All of these enemies have 0 defense. Rolling 2 combat dice here, 2 here. This is a strength 5 and a range 2. So we've got to look out for this one. 5 health here. 6 here. And then the high elf bandit has got 3 health and a range of 4. It's going to be tough. There's only 1 combat die, but still. This skull here, this just tells you what type it is. If you see a skull, that's a humanoid. The cliff racer up here is a beast. It's not relevant to our battle, but some effects may refer to humanoids or beasts. There's also Daedras. This one here tells you the targets. You'll see either a single figure here or multiple figures. This says it targets a single target. This is multiple, right? 2 targets. And then the arrow up here or down is the priority. So this one will go high, it's the strongest. This one low, it's going for the weakest target. Okay. All right, that's our enemies deployed. We're going to use this die to set the round counter. We're in round 1 of battle. This is really important. It's something I tend to forget to change. But as we complete each round of battle, this is going to tick up to 5 and then beyond. And when it hits this fatigue round icon, that's when we're going to start taking damage from the battle going on too long. We need to deploy our own adventurers, and we also need to decide who's going to take the first player token. Who's going to go first? I'm going to give it to my Khajiit archer, I think. Start there. We are going to set up their health stacks as well. So remember, Khajiit has health 4. Our Breton Warden has 5. And where do we want to place them? I'm thinking about which are the most important enemies to take down first. Those are the ones that are going to be doing the most damage, I think. So the Dark Elf, Bandit, the Cliff Racer. But I also want to look at their abilities. The Cliff Racer has Rush. And this is where you're going to find your enemy skills reference chart invaluable. Rush says if they can't target an opposing unit after moving, they'll move a second time. So this guy's going to move quickly. The Dark Elf Bandit Divert. This says it can't lose its last HP unless it's already at its last HP. So if it's at 3, for example, I can't kill it for 3, I can only kill it for 2. And then I have to hit it again for its last. So that's Divert. The Nord Bandit has Steel. it's going to take our items. Now remember, we don't have any items just yet. So maybe we need to take this thing down before we start reclaiming our items. That's a good thought. Then lastly, we've got the high elf bandit here with dodge. Dodge says, effectively, prevent damage equal to the number of misses we roll. So we've got to look out for that. Its health is quite low. And I think it'll be nice to get the Breton recovering his items first. I've got to think about our range. So for an archer, your range is equal to your stamina, which is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, maybe we can hit the Nord bandit from here. When using magic, your range is up to your magicka stat, so also 3. 1, 2, 3. One thing to bear in mind with ranged units is you cannot attack with ranged weapons adjacent units. So we have to be careful about where we're moving to. The one thing I've not talked about yet is battle form, and I kind of glossed over it a little bit, but let's have a look at it now. These are our battle forms here. We've got one little peg here to select which battle form we wish to take. When you deploy your adventurer, you get to set your battle form as well as choose which items you want to make ready. For our archer, we're going to take a battle form that favours ranged weapons. That's this battle form here. But the others are defensive. We can use our combat skills to prevent damage, and that's what our stance is. We've got the heavy weapon stance. This is when we want to engage in melee with heavy two-handed weapons. Again, melee here. This is the light weapon battle form when we want to engage with single-handed skills. Ranged, and then finally, magic. This represents us wanting to engage with magic skills. We're thinking about which skills do we want to use. So there's our Kaji archer. He's going to deploy with a ranged weapon stance. For our Breton, no surprises, we're going to deploy with a magic battle form. We're going on the offensive. We can change our battle form each time we engage with an enemy, but why it's important to set this now is because some abilities may trigger prior to engaging enemies and be sensitive to our battle form, right? And you're going to see that right away with the archer. Because archer's going first, we gave them first player token. Adventurers always go first unless anything says otherwise. And the archer has an innate ability here that says at the start of your turn, if you're in the ranged battle form, deal 2 damage to a targetable enemy. So we'll have a little bit of that. A targetable enemy is one like the Nord bandit here. It's in range, there's nothing preventing us seeing this. It doesn't have an effect that prevents it being targeted. Okay. So there we go, we're going to knock 2 health off this thing right away. Now we're going to need this bow reference chart as well at this point, because we're going to be thinking about firing some arrows now and rolling some dice. We could move if we wanted. You can move once per turn. You can move twice if you don't engage. You can move before or after engaging. It doesn't matter, so the order is not important. But what you can't do is break up your movement. We move up to the value of our stamina, and remember we've got stamina 3. So you couldn't move 2, engage, and then move 1, for example. Okay. You can either move the 3 and engage, or engage, move the 3. Or you can do move, and not engage at all. All right, make sense? Okay, cool. But we're engaging. We want to fire at this Nord bandit. We're not changing battle form, we're staying ranged. Now, the number of dice we can roll is equal to our stamina. So stamina is really significant. We've got 3 stamina, we can roll 3 dice. Now for this skill line, our bow, it says we need to be in the ranged stance to use that die. Okay, we are, so we can use those, and we can use as many as we want. So we could use 2 of these, right? 2 of our 3. These are combat dice, and we've got the combat sheet, remember, here. There's no requirement to a particular stance, I keep saying stance, battle form for combat. So if we wanted to, we can add a combat die to our attack. That's absolutely fine. So it's the battle form that provides the range. We're in ranged battle form, we can't target adjacent enemies, only ranged enemies up to range 3. Right, so there we go. There's our 3 dice. Let's roll them and see how our battle resolves. All right, what have we got? We have got, actually we did really well. We got a 2, we got a 1, and we got a 1. So again, just for the, I mean, it's obvious what these do, but just for the sake of it, it tells us deal X damage to your target, where X is this little number, okay? Ignore 1 defense on your target for this engage, but as it goes, they've got no defense. Right? Same for combat, deal X damage to your target, right? X is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's all we needed to kill the Nord bandit. That's a cracking result. There's one other thing that's important here. Both of these have this orange eye here. Okay? That says that these dice, when resolved, are resolved instantly and then exhausted. What does exhausted mean? Exhausted means we place them in this track, and you resolve these dice one by one. So let's say we resolve the hit of 2 first. We place it here in this cooldown track, and we'll resolve this one hit, then we'll resolve this one hit. Okay, so they go in here and they just get placed in at the rightmost spot, you see. Now this is important because there's another peg here in this cooldown spot of 2. Do you remember right at the beginning, our card sheet came with an inherent cooldown stat of 2. That's this 2 here. At the start of every turn of battle, we're going to recover dice from this cooldown track. And the number we recover is equal to this number. We're going to recover 2 dice. So you can see the order I place these dice is significant. I'm going to recover the leftmost 2 dice. Make sense? All right, there we go. We're enemy down. That much I like. We'll place him up here. Now, if we wanted to, we could engage again. We could move and then engage. You can engage any number of times you want on a turn. However, the first engage is free. After that, each additional engage gives you 1 light fatigue. That's these blank silver dice. Why is that important? The fatigue goes in your cooldown track. And I already told you, you can recover your cooldown stat number of dice each time, which would mean that this light fatigue is going to kind of clog up your cooldown track and stop you recovering other dice more quickly. So that's how fatigue works. So if we wanted to, we could take that 1 fatigue and engage again. The problem is we've only got 1 die left to fight with. And not just that, everybody else is out of range. So we could move. I mean, one option is we step back and then we're out of range of this guy, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. But this can move and then attack. So probably a little pointless. We're thinking about where we want to go and grab items from. Probably down here. I think I will move. Yeah, maybe I'll just move down here. What I'm thinking is, if I recover 2 dice next time, I'll have 3 dice to attack with without having to gain any fatigue. So I think we'll just wait. I mean, 1 damage is not going to knock anyone out right now. So I think, yeah, we're just going to wait. All right, so we've ended our turn. Turn passes now to the Breton. Do you know what? Strike that. I might actually do this. Fortune favours the brave. If I can take 1 off here, use my innate to take him down, I can then attack somebody else next turn. Maybe I'll do this and that will open the path to that loot item. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. So we're going to take that 1 fatigue. We're going to roll just the 1 die. That's all we've got. And this is probably where I'm going to fluff it now and miss. But let's see. Let's see. Oh, 2. Wow. Did that change anything? I don't know, but we're rolling well. They don't have any defense. Their dodge only reacts to misses. So this is obviously going to cause a problem in later turns because now I've got too many dice, all my dice, over here on the cooldown track. It's going to take me an extra turn to get that 1 back now because that light fatigue is in the way. All right, so there's a risk we may pay the price. All right, Breton, your turn. They've only got 2 stamina. They've only got 2 dice to roll. we're in the magic stance. We're going to be using our magic dice and our destruction staff. We've got range 3 because of 3 magic herb, but we could move first if we wanted to. We're a little bit slower. We can't move as fast. With 2 stamina, we can only move 2 spaces. Now we've moved onto this cache. At this point, we can try and lockpick. I know we're in the midst of battle, but go with it, all right? You can try and pick this lock whilst, I don't know, maybe whilst the Khajiit was distracting them. That's what was happening. But there you go. We can, in the midst of battle, lockpick a loot cache. It doesn't cost us fatigue, anything like that. It doesn't cost actions, for example. It's not something that's going to cost us time. Move is the action. We've ended on move here. We've ended on a hex with a cache. We'll trigger a lockpick check. And I'm really hoping the Breton can do this and get their loot back. This is a common item cache. So what we do is we look at the top card of the common item deck, which is this card here. This first number says how many attempts we get at picking this lock, and we're going to do it with 3 regular 6-sided dice. These are the lockpick dice. Okay. We will roll a dice, and we're looking for these numbers: 3, 3, 6. Wow, 3, 3, 5. Okay. We can choose now to keep any number of these dice set aside. So I might keep the 2 3s because I need two 3s here and a 6. We could choose to keep 1. We could choose to keep all 3. We could choose to keep none. But any dice that I don't keep aside, I'll get to re-roll. Okay. So if I wanted to, I could re-roll all 3 in the hope to get 3, 3, 6. But no, that's not right. That doesn't make sense. I'm going to keep the 3, and in fact, I could keep the 5. Now I've got 2 more attempts. I could roll this 2 more times and try and get that 6. Or you can adjust your results. I can take a light fatigue and move one of these dice up or down 1 number. So I could take a light fatigue and turn this 5 into a 6, and I've completed that lockpick check. So do I want to do that? Do I want to risk it? I mean, I could roll a 2 and then a 1, and I've completely fluffed it. And then to get it, I'm going to have to spend 4 light fatigue to push that up to a 6. So I think I'm going to just count my blessings a little bit, take 1 light fatigue here, and turn that into a 3, 3, 6. There's that fatigue. Fantastic. We've got our loot back. That goes over here. We've reclaimed our items. Get rid of those dice. The item is discarded. We never know what that might have been. All right. Now for our engage. Who are we going to engage? I think we're going to try and engage this Dark Elf Bandit. We've got 3 magic. We've got 3 range here. Now you might be thinking, all right, Ricky, what about using one of those combat dice? Well, let me qualify something. In combat, you can be in any battle form to use combat dice, but it does qualify. Combat skill dice can be rolled in any battle form except for magic. So we can't use combat dice while we're in magic. That's the one exception. So be aware of that. But we've got our destruction staff instead. We've got 2 stamina. We're rolling 2 dice. We're targeting this guy. Range 3. We're all good. Okay, what did we get? We got 2 shock. Each one of these is used instantly and does 2 damage to our target. 1, 2, 1, 2. They've got 1 health left. Remember, they've got the divert, which says they can't lose their last health point. So we're okay. We're okay. We've taken away 4. Now, combat destruction staff incidentally is absolutely awesome. What a force shock. Wow. These 2 are exhausted. Now, we are in a little bit of trouble here because we've got 3 enemies and they're all going to find targets. There's a chance, that our Khajiit is going to suffer. This guy might as well, actually. We could have a go at the Cliff Racer, so that's one option. Do I want to spend another fatigue and get another hit off at this Cliff Racer? Yeah, why don't we do that? We are adjacent to him. So let's do that. So I gain 1 light fatigue. Remember, I'm doing another engage action. Choose my battle form, and I'm going to go into single-handed combat. Well, I could go defensive, that's the other option. But I'm going to target that cliff racer. I've got two stamina, so I can roll up to 2 dice, but I've only got 1 left. That's my combat die. So we're going for this guy. He doesn't have any defense, and it has the rush skill, which makes him move twice, but it's not going to use that. So let's roll. And we've got 1 hit. Okay. And there's me hoping for a miss. Right, 1 hit, 1 hit. I'm happy. Let's exhaust this die. And we've really thrown everything at this first turn, haven't we? This is where it will start to get a little bit dodgy, because it is the enemy's turn. Now we can decide the order in which each of these acts. I think I'm going to have the high elf bandit go first. They're looking for targetable units in range. This guy's got range 4, so he's got 1. Range 1, he's got 1. Range 2, he doesn't have. I'm going to do him last. He's going for the unit with the lowest amount of health. So there's 4 here, 5 here. So at the moment he's going for this guy, but I might want him to go for the Breton. So I think we'll just see what happens. Let's go for the high elf bandit first. It's got range 4. It can attack multiple enemies, so it can hit both of us. It's got 1 attack die. Enemy attack dice look like this. They're black, as opposed to our combat dice, which are white. They're pretty much the same, except on the miss side, instead of having tenacity, it's just blank, right? But otherwise, they have 1, 2. The rest are 1s, and they have 1 miss. It's got 1 attack die. When we roll this die, the amount of damage is going to be applied to both of our adventurers, right? They don't roll twice. They just roll once, same damage to both of us. And we got a 1. It was a hit. If we'd put up a defensive battle form, we could have used our combat dice as shields, but we didn't. We were on the offensive, so we don't have any defense. We can't soak up any of this damage. So 1 damage here, 1 damage here would be taken, but we do have our cuirass, so we could drain an available combat die or gain 1 over fatigue to prevent 2 damage. Now as it goes, I know it's a bit strange, I don't want to use this right now. I'm just going to let this damage go through. The important point is both of my adventurers now have, oh no, this one only has 3 health, this one has 4. Alright, let's do the cliff racer next. Cliff racer's got 2. It's attacking 1 adventurer, whoever's got the highest, which is the Breton right now. It's probably going to do, there's a chance it could kill the Breton, I suppose. Oh no, I can use my armor. Yeah, let's see what it does. Enemies don't move if they don't have to, okay? So it doesn't have to move. It's got an enemy in range right now. And it's doing 2 damage. And I'm actually going to take that damage. 1, 2. Again, I'm taking the damage. And then there's a reason why. And that's because this Dark Elf Bandit is going to go next. He's got range 2. It wants to attack the weakest. I was concerned if it attacked the Khajiit here, who's only got 3 health left, with 2 attack dice, it could have defeated him. And I don't want that to happen. There's still a chance that he'll defeat the Breton, but we got a better chance of surviving with 2 health. And that was a bad hit, but with 2 health and the cuirass, I feel happier with this guy taking this guy instead. This is now the weakest. So it wants to move 2 to get within 2 range of this guy. Either spot is fine. I can choose which spot to put him in. I'm going to put him here. And we're going to roll the 2 dice. So it's 2 attack against the Breton. Oh, and it's 3 damage. That's bad. 3 damage. We can use our cuirass. We can gain 1 over fatigue. One of these black. So this is light fatigue. This is over fatigue. We're going to gain one of these to prevent 2 damage. This is our armor. We're always wearing this. Okay, we can only have 1 armor piece equipped at a time. So if we do pick up another armor, we can't have both. You can't benefit from 2 sets of armor. But we do now have this over fatigue. Over fatigue, once we get into the fatigue round, over fatigue is going to be doing 1 extra damage to us every turn. So we've got to look out for that. The other thing is when we do cooldown, over fatigue doesn't go. It just sticks around. Okay, so it's going to keep clogging up our cooldown track. So that's bad. But we have prevented 2 damage. We're still taking 1, so we're down to 1 health, which is not pretty. Now, just before we move on, I do want to draw your attention to another ability on this cuirass. It says overtax. As a one-time thing, when you take this ability, you can additionally use the overtax. The downside of this is you can only do it once. Once you overtax an item, you have to discard it. It's kind of effectively broken. Okay, but we're going to do it. I'll tell you why in a second. We're throwing caution to the wind a little bit here and going all in. I'm hoping that they won't get another chance to attack me. But it says recover all drained combat skill dice. There's only 1. And then remove all fatigue from your cooldown track. Okay, so all fatigue, light fatigue and over fatigue, it's going. But now we have to discard this. However, the Breton has an ability here, an innate skill. Once per battle, when you overtax this type of weapon or this type of armor, return that item to your pack instead of discarding it. So we're going to keep it, but it's now back in our pack. You may then move a different item in your pack to a ready slot. Okay, so we're going to keep it. We can't use it anymore this battle, but absolutely next time we can. Okay, so that's now in their pack. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with the way things are going. All right. All enemies have gone. We've done all our damage. We're moving into round 2. And we're back to the archer. Now the archer has a start of turn. So remember, start of turn effects trigger first. Then we get to recover our fatigue. And then we do our actions, moving, engaging and stuff. Okay, so we haven't got any dice right now. This would be dreadful if it wasn't for that sequence. All right, so start of turn. At the start of a turn, if you're in ranged battle form, which we are, deal 2 damage to a targetable enemy. This dark elf is targetable, so is the high elf. I want to clear this one out of the way. So this is the guy that's going. Also, it's got dodge, and I don't want to leave it to the dice just in case, because I want to try and finish everything off this time. Okay, good work, Archer. Remember, I don't have this glyph. Then we recover. My cooldown's 2, so I'll recover 2 dice. Now, you don't get to choose, it's always the 2 leftmost, okay? So I'm going to get my 2 bow dice, which is fine, that's exactly what I want. I'm going to recover those 2, and these shuffle off to the left. That's cooldown. This is how you recover. And this is why when you spend XP, one of the things you can do is actually increase your cooldown, get your dice back more quickly. For now, though, we're going to move and engage. Do you know what? I think I'm going to take out this Dark Elf Bandit first. Then I'm going to move. Yes. Okay. Let's fire our dice. So we've only got 2 dice, even though we've got 3 stamina, because we haven't recovered enough. I just want to hit this thing. But do I want to use 2 dice or just 1? I'm going to use 2 because I might get some tenacity. I might miss and keep this guy alive. Yeah. So let's stay where we are. We're going to engage. Then we'll move over here and grab our stuff. Whoa, 1 hit. That was close. He's got no defense. He is defeated. Divert takes off his last HP with this 1 hit. We've got 1 tenacity. Incidentally, you don't have to use dice, but if you choose not to use the die you roll, it still exhausts. Okay. these dice go in here. This is our tenacity track, so we're going to increase our tenacity by 1. I mean, we can look at our skills here. For 1 tenacity, it says interrupt. When selecting a target, increase your range by 1. Pretty nice, huh? Note, you can only use each of these once per turn, so I can't increase my accuracy again and again and again. If I've got 5 tenacity, for example, I can't increase it by 5. Right? You can only use each one once. You can trigger multiple, so I could do accuracy and then Hawkeye, for example, on the same turn, but not the same one more than once. Right? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, that's our engage. Now we can think about moving, and I'm going to move down here. We're going to recover our stuff. So we draw a common loot item. Yeah, so I had 3 stamina, 3 movement, but I'm not going to do a lockpick because the card sheet's got this special cut purse ability. Once per battle, you may automatically succeed at a lockpick check without rolling any dice, and then move up to 5 hexes. So we automatically succeed this check. This is discarded, and we get our glyph back. Now we can move up to 5 spaces. Now at this point, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. I mean, I could go off and try and get one of these other loot items, but what's going to happen next is the Breton's going to do its attack. We haven't got any dice left. The Breton's going to do his attack, but he could miss and fail to finish this thing off. If he does, this Breton is left targetable. I mean, even with their 2 movement, they've only got 2 stamina, you see, so we've going to move 2 away. Yeah, if they move away, they're going to target this now. If not, I mean, it could go and target this thing. I want the Cliff Racer to target him. That's effectively what I'm saying. And I have to be adjacent for him to. No, I don't have to be adjacent. I could just be here. That'll do. Because we can move the Breton away. Then he'll move here. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. All right, so we'll do this. We're going to move here. But that does mean, obviously, we're not grabbing this extra loot item. But that's fine. That's fine. I'm more concerned about keeping my Breton alive at this point. Okay, Breton, you'll go. They've got 2 cooldown. They're recovering 2 dice. We're going to engage with these 2 dice. I might actually move away first, just because I can. But we'll go here. Yeah, doesn't matter. This is fine. I'm attacking him for 2. They've got no defense. I don't have any tenacity. Yeah, that's a shame. Do you know what? I'm going to attack first, just in case I need to finish him off with a whack with my stick. All right, let's stay here. Let's attack. Okay, ouch. What does this do? Destruction Staff. Oh, wow. This says deal 4 damage to your target. He's dead. And then 1 true damage to any adventurer. So we do another damage on, say, Khajiit. True damage can't be blocked. I'm going to choose not to resolve this one, but it will still be exhausted. But the good news is we have succeeded in our battle. Wow. Okay. Khajiit, Breton, you made a good team. We defeated these 4 bandits that had stolen our equipment. And we did it in 2 rounds. Pretty good. That's a good start. That is a good start. But we do have some health damage to carry into the end of day. Do note that keep the health here, right, as a record of where we are. Right? Don't accidentally discard it. We'll get rid of the cash chips. These will go back in the bag. That's the 1-5 bag. They could come out again next time. Give it a good shuffle up. and we'll set the round token back to 1, ready for our next battle. Note that the dice remain in their cooldown tracks. We don't touch those. Okay. All right. That's it. We've completed our encounter. That was our first conflict, and we're going to now look at getting some rewards. We're going to get 2 experience points. The first thing we do is track that here, right? So that goes from 2 to 4. That means our next encounter is going to be tougher, right? There's going to be a bigger enemy point, bigger EP value. It's going to be 8, so that'll be a 5 and 3 ones. Individually, we also each get 2 experience points, and we can record that on our mats here. If for any reason you ever get more than 3, because this only goes up to 3, just keep a tally of your own experience point. I've not had to do this so far, but you can only carry up to a maximum of 3 over from day to day, you see. But we've got 2, and that's where it's recorded. And that's the fun part, right? Spending your experience, building up your character. That's what this game really excels at. Okay, we're going to discard that in a bit, but for now, we're going to look at using our experience points. Now, I said any unspent experience points will get lost. Actually, it gets converted into tenacity. So if, let's say, I had 5 and I choose not to spend it, I can only carry over 3. I'd lose 2, but that would get converted into tenacity. You can buy tenacity with experience, but that's quite overpriced. Okay, what can we do with our experience point? Well, first off, we can increase an attribute. So maybe I want to increase my health by 1. What I would do here, let's say I wanted to do that. And we're going from left to right, so that would cost me the silver figures here. That would cost me 1 experience point to put that in there and go to health 5. If I wanted to increase this one, that would cost me the black numbers. Now as it goes, that's exactly what I'd want to do. I want to gain this scout die. So each die is going to cost me 1 for this slot, 1 for this slot, 2, right? So the third one's going to cost me 2. But I've only got 2 XP. I'm going to spend 1 of it and buy this dice. Okay. Remember that was the shadow cloak level 1 die. If you want to go up levels, let's say we want this Path of Darkness, this is a level 2, you can do that, but you have to have at least 1 die of the level below. Okay, so I'd need a level 1 to go to level 2, I'd need a level 2 to go to level 3, and so on. I'd quite like to increase my stamina as well, but that's going to cost me 2 XP to do that. I don't have enough XP. Also, increasing your cooldown is a really good thing, but to go from 2 to 3 here is going to cost me 3 XP. Right, so every new step is going to cost that amount of experience points. So if I spent 3 XP, I'd go to 3, and then to get to 4, I'd need to expend an additional 4 experience points. Right, so quite expensive to push up the cooldown, but it's certainly worth it. If I wanted to add combat, remember I've already got 2 combat dice, so you have to imagine that those 2 combat dice are here. So a third combat would actually be this spot here, which would cost 2. Same for the bow, right? 1, I've got 2, so the third one would cost 2 XP. So what I'm actually going to do is spend my XP and get another shadow die. This time I'm going to gain this refreshing shadows die. It lets me gain health points and also recover light fatigue, which I think is going to be really helpful. Here it is. There's another level 1 die, but I think we'll go with that. So that's my experience points spent. What about the Breton? I could get another magic. That would cost, yeah, maybe I'll get another one of these dice. So that would be in this slot, which would cost 2 experience points. So yeah, I'm going to get another destruction staff die. We could get a level 2 and get something like destructive touch. I like this one. Let's go and grab destructive touch. And that's going to go in this slot and cost 2 XP. Okay, end of day phase now, and start recovering some of that health and some of those dice. First, we activate the province effect. Now, we didn't draw a peaceful encounter, we drew a conflict encounter. So we're going to go off to our card deck. We need to draw a peaceful encounter. There isn't one, it's an item. Remember, this goes in the Morag Tong presence stack. Place it up here somewhere underneath Morag Tong and Zurich's chip. Yeah, that's their stack. Draw again. We just keep drawing. If we keep drawing items, we keep drawing items. But remember, we're not looking at the text here, we're looking at this on the bottom. And it's not a pretty one. It says, is this one, either increase the dig track by 4, nasty, or reduce the party's base overland movement by 3 during the next overland phase, which we don't want to do. So we're going to have to suck it up, I'm afraid, and increase the dig track by 4. Ouch. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4. This goes up to 1. Okay. This gets discarded, so that's out of the game. But now we do get to rest. So based on the game's difficulty, we're playing apprentice level, so we're going to each heal up for 2 health points. So my go cheats back up to 4. The Breton is only up to 3. If you're playing on adept or expert, you'll be healing just for 1. Then we can grab 2 dice from the cooldown stat. This is not affected by your cooldown stat. It's all about the level of the game you're playing. So apprentice is 2 dice. And also, they don't have to be the leftmost, it could be any. Obviously for the Breton, they've only got 2, so they're grabbing those 2. And for the Khajiit, we're going to grab our 2 bow dice. Okay. These remain in place. Additionally, now we can trade items if we want and move items out of our packs already. So the Breton's going to make the cuirass ready again. Oh, I should have been in magic battle form for that last attack. Yeah, imagine I did. Right, don't forget to change your battle form. And that's probably where I want to be for the start of our next day.